Hey, everybody, and welcome back to All Things Soggy Buns, the podcast that dives deep into the world of BBQ.
That's right.
And you know Soggy Buns as your Maryland go-to for all things BBQ.
Yeah, we got the ribs, brisket, pulled pork, juicy chicken, you name it.
We got it all. And you can get it at our food truck or for catering.
That's right.
But today, we're turning up the heat with something that you all have been requesting.
Oh, yeah.
Homemade hot sauce.
Oh.
I'm so glad you're here to help break it all down for us. I've got to be honest with you. The process has always seemed a little intimidating to me.
Oh, I get it.
But after seeing this recipe our listener sent in, I'm feeling ready to give it a go, and it all starts with fermentation, which sounds a little bit like kitchen magic to me.
Well, it really is fascinating how something as simple as fermentation can create such complex flavors. It might sound intimidating, but really it's just harnessing the power of good bacteria. Think of it like this. Those tiny microbes are like culinary artists, transforming ordinary peppers into something extraordinary.
So it's like a microscopic art studio in that jar, with bacteria as the creative force.
Ugh.
I love that analogy. One thing that really struck me about the recipe is that even peppers from the same plant can have very different heat levels.
Oh, absolutely. Each pepper has its own personality,
Huh?
and that's where the Scoville scale comes in. It measures the pungency of peppers based on the concentration of capsaicin, the compound that gives peppers their heat.
So the higher the Scoville units, the hotter the pepper.
That's right.
Makes sense. But it's still wild to think that a seemingly innocent pepper could pack such a punch. And speaking of punch, the recipe emphasizes the importance of wearing gloves when handling hot peppers.
Absolutely. It's not just about the immediate burning sensation that you might feel on your skin. Capsaicin can actually bind to pain receptors, and that's why it's used in some pain relief creams. It's amazing how one compound can have such diverse effects.
Wow, I had no idea capsaicin was used for pain relief. See, this is what I love about these deep dives.
Yeah.
You always uncover these fascinating connections I never would have thought of. So I've got to ask, since we're talking about safety, what's the best way to deal with the inevitable burning sensation if you accidentally touch your eyes or face after handling hot peppers?
Well, first things first, avoid touching your face at all costs while you're working with peppers. But if you do happen to get some capsaicin on your skin, washing with just soap and water isn't always enough because capsaicin is fat soluble. You're better off using something like milk or yogurt, which contain casein, a protein that can help break down those capsaicin bonds.
So it's like a science experiment in the kitchen. Milk to the rescue. You know, this is all reminding me of the incredible sauces we use at Soggy Buns. If you're ever craving some mouth-watering BBQ, be sure to check out our food truck or catering options at soggybuns.com. That's B-U-N-Z. Now back to our hot sauce adventure. Ola, the recipe, also mentions adding other ingredients, like onions, carrots, even mango, for sweetness. How do these additions affect the final flavor and texture of the hot sauce?
Well, it's all about layering flavors and creating balance. Adding ingredients like onions and carrots not only brings in their own unique tastes, but also adds body and texture to the sauce. They can create a smoother, more homogeneous blend, where something like mango brings in a tropical sweetness that can temper the heat and create a more complex and nuanced flavor profile.
So it's like an orchestra of flavors, with each ingredient playing its part to create a harmonious whole.
Exactly. And just like a conductor guides an orchestra, you, the hot sauce maker, have the power to control the intensity, the sweetness, the acidity, and the overall complexity of the final product.
I love it. You're the conductor of your hot sauce destiny.
Haha, that's right. And that's what's so cool about making your own hot sauce. It's like you're creating a flavor experience that's totally unique to you.
Yeah, it's culinary self-expression. That's a great way to put it. Now, we did get a couple of questions from listeners who are already trying this out at home. One listener wants to know if they can use dried chiles instead of fresh.
Oh, for sure. Dried chiles are a great option, especially if you want a more concentrated flavor or you want to try varieties that aren't really available fresh. You just have to rehydrate them before using them.
And how do you do that? Just soak them in water?
Yep. Warm water is best. And you'll want to soak them for about 30 minutes or so until they're soft and pliable. Then you can just remove the stems and seeds and use them just like you would fresh chiles.
Gotcha. Now, another listener had a little bit of a mishap in the kitchen. They accidentally added the vinegar at the blending stage instead of during fermentation. Did they ruin their hot sauce?
Not at all. Adding the vinegar during fermentation is the traditional way to do it, but adding it later won't make the hot sauce unsafe or anything. It might just change the flavor a little bit, but the hot sauce will still be delicious.
That's a relief.
Yeah.
So it sounds like there's room for flexibility in the process.
Mhm.
Speaking of flexibility, What are some of the more unusual ingredients you've seen people add to their hot sauce?
Oh gosh, I've seen people use all sorts of things. Roasted beets, sweet potatoes, coffee, even chocolate.
Chocolate.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
wow.
really depends on your personal taste and the flavor you're going for.
What kind of chocolate would you even use for that?
Dark chocolate works best. Just a little bit can add a nice complexity to the sauce, especially if you're using fruity peppers. You get this cool interplay between sweet, spicy, and a little bit of bitter.
Huh. That's interesting. I might have to give that a try. You know, all these innovative flavor combinations. They remind me of all the great sauces we've created at Soggy Buns, from our classic vinegar beet sauce to our smoky sweet bourbon glaze. We're always experimenting, always trying to find new ways to make your taste buds happy. And if you're looking to make those taste buds happy, don't forget to check out our menu and locations at soggybuns.com. That's B-U-N-Z. All right, back to our hot sauce deep dive. Ola, what's the most important thing for someone to keep in mind when they're first starting out making hot sauce?
I think the most important thing is to not be afraid to experiment and have fun. Don't get too caught up in following the recipe exactly. Trust your gut. Try different flavors, see what happens.
I like that. It's all about embracing the creative process, letting your taste buds be your guide.
Exactly. And hey, even if you make a mistake, it's not a big deal. Sometimes the best culinary discoveries are accidents.
Yeah, that's so true. Some of my favorite recipes came from just messing around in the kitchen. So, Ola, what is it about fermentation that you find so fascinating?
You know what I find the most fascinating is how this old process can turn simple ingredients into something so complex and flavorful. It's like a partnership between humans and nature. We use these microorganisms to make something truly special. And it's not just for hot sauce. Fermentation is used to make tons of foods: yogurt, cheese, sourdough bread, kimchi.
Wow. It's amazing to think about all the different ways fermentation is used.
And anyone can do it at home. You just need a few simple ingredients and a little bit of patience.
Well, I think we've officially demystified homemade hot sauce. Ola, thank you so much for being here today. This has been a really fun deep dive.
My pleasure. It's been great.
I love that. It really is a whole world of culinary possibilities.
Yeah.
And you know what else is a world of possibilities? Soggy buns. We're talking ribs, brisket, pulled pork chicken, all smoked low and slow to perfection.
Oh, yeah.
And of course, we can't forget about our incredible homemade sauces.
The perfect complement.
That's right. So if you're ever in Maryland and you're looking for some good BBQ, come see us. Soggybuns.com. That's B-U-N-Z. But even if you're not in Maryland, I hope this deep dive has inspired you to try making your own hot sauce at home. Experiment, have fun, and embrace those little accidents. Sometimes they lead to the best discoveries.
That's right.
And hey, maybe you'll even create the next Soggy Bun signature sauce.
You never know.
All right, Ola, thanks again for joining us on this spicy adventure.
It's been my pleasure.
And to everyone listening, thank you for tuning in to All Things Soggy Buns. We'll see you next time for another deep dive into the world of BBQ.